Hi everyone, Velvet here, and in this one, OP refuses to help her stepdaughter with her baby. Let's get to it. Our first story comes from NeatDog5716. Am I the beehole for taking my son for custody time and not his half-brother? I, a 30 male, have an 8-year-old son with my ex-wife. During her second pregnancy, I was still married and thought the baby was mine. But then, I learned she cheated and she told the other guy that he was the father. I left the marriage and filed for divorce, and when the ex's son was born, I took a DNA test which proved I was not the father to her younger son. We also did a DNA test on my son during the divorce. He is my biological son. The divorce went through. I pay a small amount of child support to even things out at her house because I earn more than my ex. Ex was with the other guy for a few months of her son's life, but he was no longer around. Once he dropped out of the picture, she tried crawling back to me. She said our son was lucky to have me and she'd love a dad for her second son. I told her she better go out and find a good man and then not cheat on him. She looked shocked and I told her she was delusional. She thought I was going to trust her again or want to raise her son as my own after what she did. She told me it'd be better for the boys to be together always, and that with the 4-year age gap, they'll never know half the stuff she and I were to work together and to raise them as ours. I firmly said no, and told her she needed to focus on finding someone else if she wanted to give her son a father figure. 4 years on, and my ex did not find someone else, she still tries to push her son onto me. I had to bring her back to court to arrange a neutral place for us to do exchanges of our son because when I picked him up from her house, she would have her younger son ready and waiting to come with me. It became a problem and she refused to stop, so I thought meeting them at some location for exchanges would help. It worked for a small period of time, but then Friday, when I was picking up my son for my parenting time, she brought her younger son along and he had a bag packed and waiting to come with me. He walked over with my son and held his arms out like he wanted to be hugged/held, and he said he was coming too. He looked so happy. I felt bad because I was not going to bring him. I gently told him to return to his mom. Poor kid looked so confused. I left my son quickly so no fight could ensue. Ex started texting me late Friday night, all day yesterday, telling me I was a male reproductive organ and I should have my heart melt enough to let him come. She said I have proven to be an amazing dad with our son, and she just wants the same for her son. Then she told me our son wanted his brother at my house, and I was an a-hole for ignoring that too. I spoke to my son yesterday, and he said he never asked for that or said he wanted it. He did say his mom told him to say he wanted his half-brother at my house too, and that he wanted me to be his half-brother's daddy, but he told me he didn't care. Ex's words getting to me though. Maybe because I know her son doesn't really have anyone outside my ex and my son is more into friends than his half-brother. Am I the beehole? OP, you are not the beehole. This woman is insane. She cheats on you and leaves you, gets with the man, and then she wants you to raise another man's child, and now she's trying to manipulate your son into getting what she wants. That's pure evil, and now she's messing with that poor boy. That's not your son. I do not believe you should be, sorry for messing up like that, but I do not believe a man should be forced to raise another man's son unless, adoption. But then again, you made the decision. So no, you are not the beehole. Your wife is the beehole, and she needs to stop messing with these kids' minds like that. She's gonna, she's gonna have them grow up into some jacked up and twisted adults. Our next one comes from Late Satisfaction 22-8. Am I the beehole for refusing to help my stepdaughter with her baby? I, a 38 female, married my husband Sam, a 47-year-old male, 5 years ago. Sam always knew I did not want to have children of my own. He was fine with it. He has a daughter, Leah, a 25-year-old female. His wife died when Leah was 10 years old, and I met him when she was 15. I didn't meet her until after a year of dating. She was a young, sweet adult, and we got along great. I didn't move in with Sam until Leah left for college though. Leah got pregnant last year. Her boyfriend did not want to keep the baby, but she wanted to keep it. He broke up with her. Leah moved back in with us because she could not afford her lifestyle without him. She worked as a teacher, and he was the breadwinner. I had concerns about how she was going to raise the child on a teacher's salary by herself. I suggested getting him to pay child support. She did not want that. Sam thought I should stay out of it. Fine. But once she had the baby around 4 months back, Leah seemed to realize having a baby was not sunshine and rainbows, as she thought it was. She barely got any sleep during the last 4 months, all while Sam was helping her with the baby while I did almost all the chores myself. Now, her leave is ending. She did not want to have the baby at daycare or with a nanny. Sam and I both work as well. She asked if I could stay home with the baby. I said no. First, it was not my baby, and I never wanted to raise a child. Second, I have work. She asked Sam, who asked me to do it instead. I refused, stating the reasons again. Sam couldn't stay home because he earned more than me and covered more of the bills. I asked why Leah can't stay home with the baby herself. She said how she was young and she had to build a career. I said many people take breaks to raise kids. She broke down crying about how she was tired all the time being a mom and she needed something else in her life too. Sam feels bad for her and thinks we should help her. I suggested she paid for a nanny with her income, but Leah doesn't want strangers looking after her baby. Both of them are pressuring me to stay home with the baby so she can go to work. I'm standing firm on my decision. Leah said yesterday how she wished her mom was alive since she would have had her back. And she said I didn't love her and my husband is also mad at me. Am I the beehole for refusing to help my stepdaughter with her baby? OP, no, you are not the beehole. She chose to have that child. When the guy left, she should have realized, maybe I can't do this on my salary and, not have the child when she had the chance. Now that she had the child, she's realizing she needs help after telling you, they told you to stay out of it. You're staying out of it. Why do they have to bring you in on the worst parts? Nope, she dug her bed and she has to deal with it. You dig in, OP. You dig in and you do not change your decision. They shouldn't have to stop mess with your life and your career because of her foolish decisions. Alright, and our final story comes from Unlikely Salary 409. Am I the beehole for laughing when my son came home from meeting his girlfriend's parents because he chose to behave like he does at home? My son burps a lot while eating. I've tried telling him multiple times that it's rude. I've told him to slow down so he doesn't have to swallow air with his food. I've told him that it's disgusting. My wife will instantly jump to defend him. She'll say that it's just the way he is and it's not his fault. The thing is, he can control himself when I remind him. He just chooses not to. He just went on a date with his girlfriend last night, and she tore him a new one. It was his first time meeting her parents, since they lived in another city. They went out to a fancy restaurant, and he burped all the way through supper. He came home almost in tears from her chewing him out for behaving like a donkey in front of her family. I hear him telling my wife about it, and I laughed. She asked what was so funny, and I reminded them both that I had tried dozens of times, if not hundreds of times, to teach him table manners, and he rejected them, and she protected him. I said now that he's a grown man, and he has to learn the hard way. They both think she overreacted, and that I'm the beehole for being amused at his experience. No, this one's a pretty funny, lighthearted one. No, you're not the beehole. You were trying to correct his actions, and she, told him, no, keep doing it, you're fine. And now, he went out and made a fool of himself. And I agree with you. You have to learn from your mistakes and get better at it. Hi, everybody. And that is the end of today's stories. Thank you so much for watching. Could you please like, comment, subscribe? You know what to do. You've been on YouTube before. All the hoopla. Velvet out.